Thanks a lot, Charlie. Your Milwaukee Admirals took one hell of a hockey game in Game 5 tonight in a 2-1 win after giving up the game-tying goal at 6-on-5 with just under 2 minutes left before an unfortunate but hilarious to me mistake by two Manitoba Moose players colliding, which caused a turnover and the game-winning goal from Spencer Stastny with just 27 seconds left. This series obviously was a rough one for the Milwaukee Admirals, as they went from a 1-0 series lead to finding themselves down 2-1, facing elimination games twice in Game 4 and Game 5. But Yaroslav Askarov and company were able to stand tall and win Games 4 and 5 at home to advance to the Central Division Finals starting next Friday in Milwaukee as they face the Texas Stars for a chance to play in the Western Conference Finals, where they will face off against either Calgary or Coachella Valley. And since I wasn't available for the last game and we're at the end of the series, tonight I'm going to give you two big stats for the Admirals, so let's jump on in. First, let's talk about a team statistic. The first big stat for your Milwaukee Admirals is about the success of the special teams. The Admirals went 38% on the power play in this series, getting goals on 6 of 16 attempts in 5 games. In fact, tonight's Game 5 was the only game of the series that the Admirals did not have a power play goal, but that might have been just because they only got one shot at it. But that's not all. The Admirals were on the penalty kill 20 times in this series, an average of 4 times per game, and only gave up 2 goals the entire time, a penalty kill percentage of 90%. In fact, both goals they gave up shorthanded were in Game 4. They shut out the Moose shorthanded in every other game. They killed all 14 of 14 penalties that rest of the series. And I did say after Game 1 that one of the Admirals' biggest strengths was to get through the series would be its play on special teams, and sure enough, that proved to be the difference. And if you don't believe me, well, the Admirals scored 17 goals in the series to Manitoba's 12. Without Milwaukee's 6 power play goals, well, Milwaukee would have the advantage. And as for your second stat of the night, let's talk about the most outstanding player of this series. Now, I would love to give that to Yaroslav Askarov, who went 3-2 in the series, saving 129 of 141 shots against for a 91.5 save percentage, but alas, he wasn't quite the best player for Milwaukee. A close runner-up was a personal favorite of mine, Kiefer Sherwood, who ended the series with 2 goals, 1 on the power play, and 6 points. But he was second to another player that you might not expect. My player of the series and the subject of our second big stat of the evening is defenseman Jordan Gross. Now, let's get some background. Jordan Gross played 53 games with the Admirals this regular season and ended the regular season tied for 4th on the team with 38 points and 2nd on the team with 28 assists. Gross also had 15 games for Nashville this season, picking up 3 goals, one of which was on the power play, of course. But in this series against the Moose, Jordan Gross really had his chance to shine. The defenseman led the Admirals in the majority of statistics in the 5-game series. He was tied with Sherwood, Evangelista, and Zach Sanford with 2 goals apiece, but stands alone at the top with 5 assists, 7 points, and 5 primary points, which are goals and primary assists. He tied with Sherwood with a team-high 17 shots, shooting 11.8% on the series, and both he and Sherwood had a goal and 2 assists on the power play. And yes, even though I absolutely hate this statistic, Jordan Gross did lead all Admirals in plus-minus with a +4. Gross was just one of 3 Admirals to have points in 4 of the 5 games of this series, picking up both goals in Game 1 and assists in every game except for Game 3. Game 1 for Gross was also the only game for any Admiral player where they had multiple goals, as well as a 3-point game where he picked up 2 goals and an assist. In fact, he and Kiefer Sherwood were the only players for the Admirals with more than one multiple-point game. Now, the Admirals do have plenty of time to regroup. They've got 5 full days of rest before the Texas Stars arrive in Milwaukee for Games 1 and 2 of the 5-game Central Division Finals. We saw this series how effective the Admirals' special teams were. They backed up their AHL leading 24.6% power play from the regular season and even improved on the regular season's third best penalty kill that had a 84.3% with a 90% rate in this round of the playoffs. With the decided advantage on special teams against Texas, where Texas were 20th in the regular season in power play and 5th in penalty kill, Milwaukee can also rely on its top players to not only put numbers on the score sheet, but do it on a consistent basis. Jordan Gross, Kiefer Sherwood, and Luke Evangelista combined for 6 goals, 18 points, and 8 power play points, and at least one of the 3 had a point in every game of this series. But like I said before, unfortunately, we've got some time to wait. The players may enjoy the 6 days rest, but as for us fans, especially Nashville fans who are starved for playoff hockey, we do have to wait until Friday evening, so I have no doubt that head coach Carl Taylor will be working on the weak spots in Milwaukee's games ahead of facing the regular season Central Division champs in the Texas Stars. The Stars finished the season just 3 points ahead of the Admirals, but Milwaukee did go 4-3-1 against Texas in 8 regular season matchups. And as we saw from this series, don't expect the Admirals to be able to waltz easily through any round of these Calder Cup playoffs, but when this team is clicking, I wouldn't count them out against anybody. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Charlie?